like LeVar. Cause with their guards off.
All right. So Kawhi hit the Game 7 dagger last night. Did you guys know that was the first ever game winner in a Game 7 in NBA history?
I thought they said second.
Really? I could have swore I saw first a lot of the time
I
today.
thought I saw second.
Bear, do you have any comment on that? First
Do
or
you guys
second?
think that game was? Do you think? I don't know. I don't have any comment on that. Do you think that shot was luck or skill?
Skill.
Skill. What do you think, Clay?
I mean, the bounce was luck, but I'll have to. The bounce was definitely luck. There's no debating that.
I think that it was skill. Like you said, I think it was skill up until the part where he shot it short, and then it just happened to go in. You know, you can't really predict that.
Right, but that's just kind of the good old shooter's role. I mean, good shooters have that kind of stuff fall for them.
Yeah, he just did over Joel Embiid too. Like the guy's 7'2". He launched that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Joel kind of like jumped before Kawhi started to shoot it too.
Yeah,
like he thought he was gonna pull even sooner. So he didn't get maybe the most ideal contest he would have hoped for, but.
So, I mean, Kawhi ended up with 41. He didn't have the most efficient night, but, I mean, he got it done when it mattered, and that's all that really matters.
Facts. Hit a game winner to advance.
Right. Serge Ibaka had a really quiet 17 and 8.
As is usually the case with him.
God, he was so good with Oklahoma City.
Yeah, he really was. Back when OKC was a real threat.
Yeah.
That would have just been really cool core group to see actually make something of itself. I just feel like Russ would have had to been the one to clearly change out of that.
Well, like those 4 draft picks,
Harden,
Durant, Westbrook, Harden, and Ibaka, I'm pretty sure that like that was only a 3-year span where they got all those guys.
And that's even getting Adams too.
Yeah, I think those 5 is like a 4-year span, but I could be wrong. That might even be within the same 3-year span. Like they drafted amazing, dude.
But Kyle Lowry, he had 10. Milk Carton as always.
3 MVPs.
So with the Sixers, I mean, would you say they fell short of expectations this year?
I don't know, because the Raptors are a different feel with Kawhi. That's for sure. It's tough. It's a tough team to be in a series.
They took the Raptors to a Game 7. They played their hearts out. Joel was sick, so I mean, if anything, when he was healthy, they probably were winning those games.
Yeah.
Sixers are so close. They're really close.
And they're
young too.
They only lost by 2, and I mean I think the thing that sticks out the most outside of Embiid being sick is Ben Simmons took 5 shots in the biggest game of his career.
How is that humanly possible?
Exactly. Like
How many minutes did he play?
42.
Oh my God, he took 5 shots.
And the thing is, if you're going to be known for a guy that just doesn't take jump shots and only scores inside, you got to have more than 5 assists.
Yeah. But it's hard to get assists whenever you're not creating your own shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not drawing.
Right. If he's having that bad of an offensive night, he's not doing anything. He's not having an impact. If he's got 5 shots, like he's not imposing his game on anybody.
Right. And
that's tough. I like the Sixers group.
I do too.
I don't like Toronto's org either. I like Kawhi.
Yeah.
I don't like the Raptors org.
It's pretty hard not to like Kawhi. So speaking of Kawhi, because I mean, it was perceived this year was kind of like a 1-year rental with him going to.
Right, he's on loan.
Yeah. Do you think that him hitting that shot and getting all amped up, going to the Western Conference Finals is enough to make him stay?
Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that he...
Yeah, it depends. Like, if they go to the finals, I think the actual finals, I think that would be a reason to stay for sure. It's just like, if you're top two, who can you go to that's much better? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it'd be weird. It's just weird to go to a finals and leave the team. Like, obviously, your team is decent.
Imagine if you went to the Nuggets, though. Like, he'd play the small forward position. You wouldn't need to be ball dominant. You'd have Jamal Murray and Kawhi Leonard playing the front court, and then you'd have Jokic in
You
the
think
back.
that would work? You think Kawhi and Jokic?
I don't know if it would, but I think Kawhi is such a team player that he's been in that team player organization too. I think he could find his status there and still be great. Yeah, I think he could.
Kawhi himself could like make it work, even though Jokic might be who they run it through.
So, speaking of the Nuggets, I just saw where today, and I forgot this guy was even in the league, Michael Porter Jr. just got cleared to play for next year.
Oh, yeah, who's that guy?
Exactly, but the thing is, I believe he's like 6'10 or 6'11, and
he's big.
And has like a really good offensive game. So that would just be really interesting. I mean, who knows what this guy's going to be? I think he played like 5 games at Missouri, and I think they were all in the tournament, like the conference tournament, and then maybe a game in the March Madness. But that would just be really interesting to see another young talent adding on there to someone that's supposed to be pretty good.
Is he the guy that's known for his really awkward shot form? Or yeah,
I guess LeVar's son.
Well, no, yeah. There was somebody else that had a really bad shot. No, that's Kate Gilchrist. Gilchrist. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I get those guys mixed up sometimes.
But yeah, I just think that would be a nice addition. So with the process, do you leave that core group together? Do you get rid of anyone? What do you do? Bear, what do you
Leave them
think?
together.
I don't want to see Embiid or Ben leave. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Although I'm sure there's plenty of suitors for both. Like, especially Clay's been high on Embiid. He can't find another Embiid.
But with that being said, I mean, if Embiid's always sick or injured, I mean, how good is his ability?
I'm big on that too, which is Cordy. I don't know if I take chances on players that have weird shit like that going on all the time. I don't know. It's one thing to be injured, obviously. I don't know.
Your availability is big, especially in the NBA.
That starts with your ability.
If you're sick, I don't know. I don't know if being sick is a real excuse.
I mean, Michael Jordan played with the flu.
Right, and that was made legend. I don't know. I just playing sick is that. It's like you're not. I don't know.
I think that, and this is going to sound crazy, but just hear me out. I think you get rid of Simmons and get a real point guard. Like someone, and when I say real point guard, what I mean is a guy that can create his own shot, like the typical point guard today, a guy that can create spacing, hit the three, but still drive and dish. With Ben Simmons, I mean, you can just...
But doesn't Ben love to handle? Will that work?
Who could you trade for that? For Ben Simmons to get a better point
guard?
See,
the people that I'm seeing today are talking about Chris Paul and Ben Simmons, but that doesn't make sense. Chris Paul's
wait. You're saying no. You're saying get a point guard with Ben, not trade Ben.
No, I'm saying trade Ben
for a point guard. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought that's what I heard, and I was like, I don't know. Okay.
The Chris Paul thing, I don't believe in that because the guy's mid-30s. He's going to be making $40 million next year. Very depleted, misses a lot of games. That doesn't work.
Yeah, that's not happening. Not happening.
I really don't have anyone in mind that makes me say that. I just think that, I mean, you have Jimmy Butler, you have Tobias Harris still, keep J.J. Redick, Embiid can shoot well. I just think that you want a guy that can hit shots.
Thought Jimmy would meant more.
I'm sorry?
You'd have thought that Jimmy would have meant more.
Jimmy was playing great.
He had a game or two, but other than that, he just didn't really stick out a lot.
Well, the offense hasn't ran through him.
Like, he can't just drop bucket game after game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, back in the day almost, or like, I don't know, I feel like Jimmy would have been the person you would have said could put them over the top, but maybe it is that they need a true point guard.
Right. That's just my take. So, anything left on the 6 in the process, that game? or that series
But
rather.
Kawhi, what a shot. I've never seen a shot from the corner from 3 for the W bounce like that.
Yeah.
Or let alone a shot like that in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've seen it happen before, I guess, but I don't feel like I've ever seen it with that much on the line, ever.
So,
What a bounce.
Denver and Portland, Game 7. CJ carried the load. I think he had, 37? I know that he had in the 30s. Dame Dalla didn't really play all that well, but what people are going to remember, and Wes was telling me this, is who was closing the game out.
He hit 2 daggers.
Were they threes?
Back to back. No. They were up 1, I think. Yeah, I think they were up 1 with the time's going to be probably off, but I want to say 45 to 52 seconds. He runs the clock, steps back hard as hell, 18-footer, bang, goes up 3. Jazz get it within 1 again, 25 seconds. He runs the clock down to where shot clock's off. Not shot clock's off, but after that shot, there will be no more shot clock. And buries him again from 18 feet, the same exact look. Just one after another, bang, bang, for the dub, pretty much.
Right.
It's Dame time.
It was Dame time. Bear.
3 for 17. He went 3 for 17.
Who did?
Dame.
I told you he didn't play well, but the shots.
The biggest 2 shots of the game.
That's some Kobe shit. That's really some Kobe shit.
I have to rewatch this and make sure that he actually hit those shots, because I swore it was him I was watching, but I swore Dame was the one that hit him.
So, Bear, your boy Jokic, he had 29 and 13, only 2 assists. He's usually the facilitator there in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did have a great series, though. You can't deny that.
That could be a result of the Portland's defense. He still had 29, though.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, Denver's field goal percentage was 37, so they just weren't hitting shots.
Yeah, exactly. So it could have been the defense, or it could have just been they weren't hitting shots.
Yeah, they were 33
if they're not hitting
89.
shots, you need assists, and you guys aren't scoring.
Just a very good defensive game.
Yeah, and I think I said that the last podcast between you and I. I said it was going to be a low-scoring game, 90s, maybe 100 max, but it finished 100 to 96, right? I thought it would be the other way around, with Denver up 100 to 96 or something like that. I forget exactly what I said the spread would be.
I believe it was 5.5, and you took Denver.
The first one that Dame hit was with 1:30 left. I knew I'd be off, because I just couldn't remember specifically. Damian hits a step back 18-footer with 1:30 left to go up 3.
So, with the Portland and Warriors series, KD is out game 1. The status is he's unlikely to play game 2. How much of a chance are you giving Portland in games 1 and 2 with KD out?
I have to make a correction and take credit for going full stupid.
Okay.
CJ McCollum's the one that hit the shots.
They look the same on the court sometimes.
Oh, bro, and that's the thing. I didn't have audio. I just saw it, and I swear to God it was Damian Lillard, because they move a little bit similar. But, oh, my God. CJ McCollum's the one that hit the shots. Ignore everything I said about Damian Lillard.
I
3 for 17,
appreciate you getting it right and not trying to be right, so...
No, I just watched it back, and I'm like, Jesus, my bad. I swore it was Dame, my fault.
Come on.
Yeah. No, but that's just the story of the game then, obviously. CJ McCollum, Mark Carey, Damian Costa didn't matter.
And I believe to start out the year, KD and CJ had some beef, and KD said something like, "Talk to me when you get on my level," and here they are in the Western Conference Finals.
Right.
CJ's big ballin'. He's on that big ballin'.
He's a big baller.
Big baller. Good for CJ. CJ's always been extremely smooth. Extremely good scorer.
Bear, do you give Portland a chance in game 1 or 2?
I give him a chance in game 1. I don't give him a chance in game 2.
Now,
Well, in game one, if they do win game one, they're like you're saying they might have a chance. And if they win that, the series could be completely different, though. Because if they get slaughtered game one, then
and then KD comes back in, and if Steph and Clay are starting to catch fire, like KD takes a little bit away from them.
Yeah.
wait, Katie guaranteed game two?
No. He is unlikely game 2.
Okay, I'm saying. But yeah, Portland's really got it. If they don't win, they have to win one of the road games, obviously, either way, but specifically with Durant out. If they go back to Portland 2-0, then that's
Yeah,
hurt.
CJ's been playing really well, so it's up to Dame to step up.
Right. Basically, like the ultimate challenge.
What are you guys picking this series to go, and who wins the whole thing?
I picked Golden State to win in 6.
Same. Unfortunate. I wanted to be different, but that literally Golden State in 6. I have respect for Portland. I think they'd take a couple. I think they win at least a couple on their home court.
It's tough because it's one of those things that you just want to say Portland in 7, but you just know.
I would love to say that. If I truly believe that, I would love to say that. But
yeah.
in my heart of hearts, I believe Golden State in 6. I would love to see Portland. I would pay to see Portland in 7. Please.
So I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to
Curry for the win.
I'm going to say Golden State and 4 sweep, bring out the brooms.
Wouldn't shock me either. Nothing really shocks me with those guys. They're annoying.
I hate for all of us to be on the same page for that, but it's just, how do you truthfully say
I feel
some
like
shit?
what me and Bear are saying, at least giving Portland the respect that they deserve. They didn't bullshit their way to the Western Conference Finals. They're a good-ass team. I think they can win a couple games on their home court. Maybe not. It wouldn't shock me if Golden State just rolls through them because Golden State does that sometimes.
You got anything else to hit on that, Bear?
I don't see the sweep happening, unfortunately.
Same.
The sweep's always cool to see. I see the 5-game maybe. I see them winning, like Portland winning game 2 if Katie doesn't play, or game 1, and then they just get swept right after that.
But you don't think Portland can win a game at home, specifically if they take one of the? I feel like they have a great chance of taking one at home.
I don't know if playing home against Golden State really matters.
It doesn't that much, but at least a little bit. Portland's a really good. Damian feeds off the crowd hard as hell.
True.
I just think
possible.
if they take one of the first 2, it's at least going 6, is what I'm saying. If they win one in Golden State, it's going 6.
Yeah. And that was my first thought, but I don't know. I could see it happening in 5 easily.
So
Well, there we go. At least we all have our own. We can all claim that then.
So Milwaukee Bucks and the 6
I would love
Eastern Conference Finals. Who you got? Meech.
Oh my goodness. I mean, as much as I slandered Milwaukee last round by predicting Boston, it's like, do I do it again? Do I sit here and slander that team again?
You were on the slander.
I'm taking the North.
Oh shit!
Rizzy motherfucking Drake, the CEO of the Raptors. Probably not, but in reality,
Yeah.
here we go.
He's the marketing executive.
They're going to make it to the finals. They're probably going to get absolutely mollywopped by Golden State, but at least they'll get to the finals. Good for Toronto. It's long overdue. I do actually hope that they win it.
So, Bear, before you go in on
Milwaukee
that,
shits on me again, then you tip your cap, boys.
Bear,
Say
before you go in on it, Meech, do you think that Kawhi bodies Giannis then? If you're gonna say the North wins,
I have honest to God, no idea how that matchup might go, but I just don't see Kawhi being stopped. He's been playing. I don't know. I don't think his stats were amazing in Game 7, but his playoff stats have been phenomenal.
right?
So I don't know.
How many games are you saying?
Toronto, lower seed, got to go Toronto in 6.
Okay.
Toronto closes it out on home court. If it goes Game 7, they're probably screwed. But I hope if they just take one of the first 2, they get in track to take it in 6. So.
Bear, who wins that individual matchup between Giannis and Kawhi?
Giannis.
Convincingly?
If that actually
That might be the case too.
Happens because it's possible that they do get some game plans where they don't put those guys against each other just so they can score the ball. But if they were to really match up each other, I think Giannis gets the better of him just because he's just too damn big.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking the same thing when I was saying I'm not going to go against Kawhi. Giannis is just huge. Even compared to Kawhi, who's long, whatever.
Giannis is an absolute freak, and it's in his name.
So you're
But
taking...
does Kawhi have more help?
No.
He's got a decent cast.
Not
I don't know.
Not as good as Milwaukee's. No, it's not.
I'm sleeping on Milwaukee. I know I have been. But.
So, Bear, what are you predicting for the series?
Milwaukee in 5.
Milwaukee in 5?
Yeah.
Yikes. Alright. Well, I'll let you get back to playing your video games that I hear you playing in the background.
What are you talking about? I'm on the TV. I'm on my computer.
I'm taking the underdog here, so I mean, I'm shitting on Milwaukee. I know it, but at least I'm taking the underdog.
I'm taking Milwaukee in 7. I think that Giannis, I think that he gets the better of Kawhi statistically. I think that the individual matchups, I think that goes 50-50.
Do they have odds on the entire series, or is it just game by game?
That's a good question that I don't know.
I think so too, but then I also think in the back of my mind you might be able to bet on the entire series. But I don't know. But all I'm saying is, if you bet on the series, what's Milwaukee? A 60-40, or is it closer?
Honestly, probably 60.
Or like a plus 70.
Depends on if you're really riding the Kawhi train.
I'm going 65-35 Milwaukee on that.
Right, so that's basically, But that's the thing, man, Toronto, I don't know. Toronto's not a joke.
No.
They've appeared to be a joke in the past.
So, real quick, head coach news in the NBA. First one I want to get to is John Beilein.
Shout out, John.
Right, former WVU coach. He is the new coach of the Cleveland Cavs. Meech, do you think that he can do anything, being that they get talent in there? You think he can turn them around?
I would have to think so, just because of he's had a couple athletes come through Michigan that were phenomenal and went on to be top league players to a degree, I guess, or mid-level league players to a degree. But he's also got it done with not the most talent, right? So he was running through the tournament with not great players a lot of years at Michigan. So I feel like if they hit him a team, he'll be good. You don't want to point to Brad Stevens as an example and say, look, he got in the league, he got players, and even last year, it was how much talent did he really have, and he did so well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I feel good about him. I'm not saying he's like Brad Stevens, but I think. I don't know. It was kind of a ballsy hire from. I like it. I like the move from Cleveland. Obviously, as I'm a John Beilein homer. We'll see.
And
we'll see.
I just saw on here Brett Brown for the Sixers. He is returning to coach in Philadelphia next year.
Thank God.
So, I think
fired after a Game 7 buzzer beater.
I don't know that Beilein is gonna be anything special.
It's just hard to say when they cross over. You know what I mean? Calipari's a GOAT in college, right? But didn't do well in the pros. First time he went to NFL, different sport, didn't do well. Came back, won a chip. It's different. Yeah, it's different. And I feel like it's a lot like what you're saying about what's around him too. If he has a team, he'll probably be able to show his coaching ability off a little bit too. If he's got players,
right?
But we'll see what's good with Cleveland. I'm not going to hold my breath on Cleveland.
Anything you got to touch on that, Bear?
Well, not on that, but I will talk about the new coach just got hired for the Lakers.
Yeah, Frank Vogel just got hired in. The one thing that I want to chime in about, is there anything that you guys know of that Mark Jackson just says he doesn't want to coach again, or how does he not get picked for any kind of candidacy?
Well, he's had to have come out and said he doesn't want to coach.
Well,
That's
this
the
one
only
specifically
explanation.
was the Lakers. They were only offering what was a 3-year deal, and they wanted 5-year deals. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, that's godlike information. I was just going to say there's no way Mark Jackson's just, I don't know. He would have a job if the terms were met, that's for sure. Like, there's no way he's just not having his hat in the ring.
Right. So.
And I think I messed that up because I thought Ty Lue rejected the offer because it wasn't enough, or like it was only a 3-year deal, or the opposite. I mean, like he was only going to get. He didn't want to be there for that long. They actually just wanted to have a deal where they could have it for more than 3 years, and that was all of them. The reason why they decided to not take the job, aside from Frank Vogel, and Frank Vogel hasn't been a coach for how long? So he's just desperate at this point. He just doesn't give a shit. He's just trying to get some money.
But Bear, you're saying that Mark Jackson and the Lakers were in talks.
I don't know, but the talks that I've heard from other people, like specifically like ESPN, they've talked about how like these other guys are rejecting the offer from the Lakers because it's only a 3-year deal, and they're giving a 3-year deal across the board.
No, I feel that. So it's just you're just thinking that Mark's obviously being considered,
Right.
which he
I would
should
so.
be. Like
Over Frank
I've been
Vogel?
saying that for years. Honestly, not even about Frank. It has nothing to do with Frank, but just Mark as an overall coach. I have no idea. For one, why he was fired in the first place. It made no sense at the time. They were disgusting on way less talent than they've had since him. So I don't know, but he's had to have turned down jobs. There's just no way that he hasn't been offered some of these jobs that have come up. He's a phenomenal coach.
Yeah.
So moving on from NBA, let's go with the hottest thing going on right now in the UFC. Let's start out with Rose, Meech. Were you able to see any of that fight?
I haven't seen anything. All I know is that everybody was saying Rose was smoking her in the first round.
She was.
Like, absolutely smoking her. And people said first round, like, after the first round ended, back to the corners, the recap from that was nobody has seen Rose look that good in the octagon, is what everybody was saying. And then somehow, I don't know if it was a fluke or something weird, but she got slammed, taken down, and spiked, quote unquote, because people were saying it's all about if you have an arc, if there's an arc to your takedown and not a deliberate, I'm holding you in position and pile driving your head into the canvas.
Right.
There was a natural athletic like arc to the movement, so it wasn't illegal. But it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just a weird way to win. Like, it's like when Matt Hughes slammed that one dude top cage, and I think that's the last time it ever happened when a title changed hands, that a slam KO for a title. When Matt Hughes slammed that dude off the top of the octagon, who had Matt Hughes in a triangle and literally submits Matt, or like knocks Matt Hughes unconscious as Matt Hughes is KOing him, and they gave it to Matt Hughes. It's speculated to this day who should have won the fight, but
So
yeah, it's sad to see Rose's run end like that. She just beat Joanna twice, looked amazing both times, and then is apparently looking better than ever, and then gets spiked off the canvas to lose the belt. It's really weird.
yeah, she was looking amazing. She was beating ass. It just seemed like every time someone gets close to her, she just wins the exchange.
Right, and it's weird when like she faced Joanna. People expected Joanna, including myself, to win those exchanges, and Rose was just tagging over and over again. Just, I'm sad. I became a Rose fan throughout that Joanna thing, and sucks to see her lose her title on a slam KO. But I don't know.
Did you see how Anderson Silva lost?
He got. What was it?
He got leg
It was
kicked.
the official TKO. Or, his
kick.
leg gave out. His leg gave out.
Anderson Silva, of all people.
Yeah, I know. Like, I
His
feel
legs are fucked
from
from those surgeries.
he could still fight, but his body's just not cooperating. He just needs to shut it down.
Yeah, I was so surprised by even saw with the card. I'm like, what the hell? What? Just, I don't know.
Should have retired a long time
You
ago.
can't tell
Yes,
the
he
arguable
should've.
go to retire, though. It's different. It's not like he's BJ Penn.
No.
Lost 7 in a row or whatever it is. It's somebody. And apparently he looked better this fight, and that's what people are talking about. But, like, dude, he's lost 7 in a row. Can this man's just, like, you used to be a god. Can we just...
It's diminishing his
down?
legacy.
I know. Like, you can't remember BJ Penn now without remembering this shit run at the end of his career. It's annoying. And that's why, like, GSP has always been mocked for not coming back, but, like, he just picked his legacy and, like, his, like, outlook smart. GSP is, like, fresh in the mind, almost hotter than Silva now, even though I think Silva's the fucking GOAT, but GSP murked Bisping the last time he was in the octagon for a belt.
Oh, yeah, daddied him.
That's something different than, like, what you're feeling about Anderson Silva modern day. It's just weird.
So
Silva needs to shut it down.
So Jose Aldo, he lost again.
Right, to this rugby turned MMA fighter who's apparently destroying everybody. He destroyed Chad Mendes in the fight before.
Yikes.
Yeah, Chad Mendes, Aldo back to back. People are talking about Frankie getting the shot. This guy just beat Mendes and Aldo back to back.
Right.
And Frankie's going to get the shot, and I know Frankie deserves it. Everyone wants to talk about how Frankie deserves it because Frankie's put in the work, and he was the lightweight champ, and he's fought everybody that he has, and he's beaten top names, and everybody knows that. Frankie's the god, but this guy just murked Aldo and Mendes back to back.
Right, seems like it may be a bigger draw.
In his country, in his home country. This guy deserves the title shot. And the whole thing is people are saying, well, maybe Frankie can get the shot, and then they'll just wait out this other guy, and he'll fight the winner. And hopefully that's the case if they're willing to give Frankie the shot. Because if he's beating Mendes and Aldo back-to-back, there's just no way he should have to fight another fucking contender fight. And then take the chance of losing. Anything could happen. He can get KO just as simple as anybody else. And then all that goes away. Back to climbing the ladder. Like, no, fuck that. Wait for the title shot if you're him, 100%.
I think that Frankie Edgar and the rugby guy that you're mentioning would be a great number one contender fight.
Right, but it's almost disrespectful to the guy. Hold on, I gotta get his fucking name. Like, we can't just call him the guy. This guy should be
The rugby guy.
Alexander Volkanovski. Put some respect on his name. 20-1 featherweight record.
Oh, God.
Unanimous decision win over Jose Aldo in his home country. Imagine how convincing that had to be to get a unanimous decision against the guy in his own country.
Pretty big league stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Knowing how Brazil is, bro. Brazil could pop off at a moment's notice. Make no mistake about it.
So one of the...
That guy murked Aldo, period.
One of the two fights that just got booked... I'll tell you what, the one that looks like the most interesting to me is the Diaz and Anthony Pettis fight.
Oh my God, I'm salivating thinking about that matchup, bro.
So, we were talking about Pettis up at 170. He beat Wonder Boy at 170.
At 170?
Yeah.
What year?
It was the most recent fight, I believe.
Wait, Pettis' last fight? Okay, that makes sense because I remember watching his last 155 UFC embedded vlog, and they were talking about how his cut was brutal. Like,
he said that he felt like he was losing power, so
It's crazy because this guy, he used to fight. That's pretty. I hope I'm not blasted saying this, but I'm pretty sure Pettis fought at featherweight. God, I'm pretty sure Anthony Pettis fought at featherweight.
At one time, maybe. I don't remember that, though.
Well, imagine that. Imagine fighting at featherweight and not choosing to fight at 170, but having to fight at 170. That's crazy, like how your body can just change up on you like that.
I think that... Well, who do you think wins that one, Bear, between Nate Diaz and Anthony Pettis? I feel like you're a Diaz guy.
I am, but I'm going with the most recent guy who's been fighting. Diaz hasn't been in the scene for a minute. We saw what happens whenever guys try to come up and they just try to fight the best person on the scene who has been fighting.
Right, I like that.
I think just based on that fact,
I like that a lot.
That's big league stuff. Where are you going with
I
that?
like that a lot. Actually, I really love that take, Bear. Like, I was in the Nate Diaz mindset, and just what you said, and the fact that Pettis has been there against, not just been in there since Nate's not been in there, but been in there against top guys.
Top guy.
Like the timing is different. I know Nate's a monster, but Nate's going to get tagged like he does. Pettis hits harder than a lot of people, and imagine how hard Pettis is going to hit at 170. His kicks, if Pettis kicks Nate in the head in the right way, he'll go down all the same as everybody else.
Yeah, he's not a fucking alien. Like, he can be knocked out.
And Pettis' grappling is amazing, so it's not as if Nate can just, lean on that and say, well, if I get fucked up, I can just lay down here like I'm fighting Conor. You're fighting a completely different guy. I almost feel like it's a worse matchup than it was like against Conor.
So who are you rolling with?
You make yours first, bro. I honestly don't know. I have to think. I'm still trying to think who I would actually take in that fight.
I'm going Diaz.
Okay, I want to hear how, though. So, Bears got Pettis, how? Decision, KO, submission? What are you thinking?
Decision.
I got decision
It'll probably
as
be a
well.
5-rounder. They'll probably make it a 5-rounder because it'll probably be the main event.
I think it goes the distance regardless. The one... You know what? If it's 5-rounder, it will not make the distance.
100%. You're talking about Anthony Pettis.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's not going the distance, bro.
He can't go the distance.
And 5. If it's 3, it could. Any fight can go 3. But if it's so that changes it completely. So we're not shitting on you, Bear. If it's a 5-round fight, which it can be based on a main event, doesn't have to be a title fight. Dana rules. So if it does that, that's just hard. Pettis' style just creates the super somebody's getting fucked up situation, and it's not going to go the distance if it's a 5-rounder with Pettis and Diaz, the way they'll be unloading on each other.
Right, I just think that Diaz wins.
I guess it could.
So what are you rolling with?
I think the safer play, which is almost corny to say, because I think Nate could win for sure, but I have to go Pettis by stoppage in like the 4th round. I'll say submission. Nate's only been knocked out once. I think Pettis will fuck him up really bad and get him in like a triangle. But Pettis' jiu-jitsu is ridiculous.
Nate's been knocked out before?
Josh Koscheck, head kick. So, and then that's the thing, if we're talking about a model for it, that was back in like 2011 though, but if we're talking about a model for it, I mean, Pettis has got dangerous head kicks. If Pettis catches him, obviously, like I said, he goes down all the same. I just have a hard time seeing Nate get knocked out, even 2 years off the sport. I think I'll go Pettis submission early 4th.
It was Josh. Are you sure it was Josh Koscheck?
I'm pretty certain.
Josh Thompson is.
Josh Thompson.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Josh Koscheck was more relevant, so in my mind, that's who it was.
So Tony Ferguson and Cerrone, they are scheduled. I don't know when. I think that one's a little bit more of a closer fight.
Hold on, we're gonna let Bear go in on this one. Clay, what the fuck was your prediction even on Nate Pettis? Did you say Nate by decision?
Nate by stoppage is what I'm going to go with.
You don't say KO submission, you just think
just by stoppage.
And are we assuming a 5-rounder? That's what
let's make that assumption.
Because if it's 3, I feel like that hinders Pettis' chances of winning. I feel like Nate could point him in 3 rounds easily, but I think that if it goes 5, Pettis has a really good chance of stopping it. But you got Nate by stoppage. I got Pettis by stoppage. Bear has Pettis by decision.
So the Ferguson and Cowboy fight, who you're on with. What do you think?
I wanted Bear to go on the Cowboy fight.
Okay.
I've got Cowboy in 4 rounds.
Cowboy in 4. I feel that.
By knockout.
By knockout? Okay.
Yeah, just because I feel like Ferguson does a lot of stupid shit, and he'll get cocky because he's Cowboy. He'll just do a lot of spinning head kicks, or not spinning head kicks, but spinning arm or whatever. I don't know what the move's called where he just
twists around. That's what he does.
Does a bunch of weird shit, and it might work out for him. I could be wrong, but just my personal opinion, I think Cowboy wins by knockout in the first round, just because Cowboy is not going to bullshit that fight. Tony Ferguson, the last fight I watched, was it against? It was on the card with Khabib.
It was Pettis, yeah. He kind of murked Pettis, but...
He kind of murked Pettis, but that's because Pettis was just...
cutting too much. Pettis is a shell of himself at those weights. Like, he's just a bigger...
And the thing is, like... I don't know. I just didn't see Ferguson really do anything that was astonishing. He just does a lot of weird shit, and then Cowboy, like I said, he's not gonna play around. He's gonna go in there and make it a fight.
Right. He's not going to give Tony the time to do all this bullshit. Even though Tony's great within the chaos, Cowboy's going to press, and I just don't know if Tony's going to be able to implement his style the way he always is against people, because Cowboy's really good standing. That's for sure.
I like the Cowboy stoppage.
I'll go Tony because that's the safe pick. Tony's won, 9-10 fights in a row in the division.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel just like a fucking absolute critic to not pick Tony, because I picked against Tony a lot in the past. So I'll take Tony. Love to see Cowboy win, but Cowboy can lose a fight just as easy as he can win. Like, he lost to Till within like 30 seconds.
I'm gonna go with Ferguson by decision. I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight. I don't think it's gonna be something that's convincingly Tony. I think that it's gonna be a come down to the wire. You don't know until the judges actually call it. I don't think it's one of those that everyone's going to say, oh yeah, Tony obviously won this one. Would be shocked if he didn't. I think it's going to be 50-50.
It's at 155, right?
I'm not sure of the weight.
Because Cowboy's been fighting at 170, I thought. I don't know about his last fight. I know he won his last fight. I don't know if it was at 155 or 170.
It's got to be 155. Ferguson's not leaving the 155 era.
Exactly. Yeah, you're 100% right. I was about to say the same thing. Tony's not leaving 155, so that even more so makes me think Tony, because I don't know.
Is 155 the hardest division in MMA?
It was. I don't know if you would say it currently is. That's hard. Clay, what do you think? Hardest division.
Oh gosh,
Or 170.
I think welterweight looks dangerous right now too. So I think it's between 155 and 170. 145 is still pretty stacked too, but I'd say 155, 170, and I think maybe 170's taking it over. But I'd say a year ago you might have said 155.
I'm gonna go 155.
If it was shaped the way it should be based on contenders, and it kind of is now, but like Conor kind of fucked that division up by just being a douchebag and not fighting and getting arrested and doing all that shit and stalling the division for years, like where Tony should have fought for the legitimate title, obviously by now.
Yeah, he should have.
Like the fact that Tony's only fought for an interim is a disgrace. The guy's won 10 fights in a row in the division. And now he's being like he's gonna fight Cowboy. I don't even know who would take that fight.
That's a tough one.
Like Tony has not. I guess if he's guaranteed a title shot after, which he should be, but if he's not, I don't know. Like, what's fighting Cowboy gonna gain? It'd be. People buy it. People want to watch that.
Oh yeah, that one's a must watch. It's gonna be a headliner.
Title shot if he beats Cowboy. That's all I'm saying.
So last thing that I plan on touching on is college football. Let's go with Jalen Hurts. He transferred to Oklahoma this year. He's going to be eligible to start this upcoming season. Do you think that Jalen Hurts has Heisman potential at Oklahoma?
Well, he definitely has the school to put himself on the map. If he puts up the numbers, he'll be in the topic of conversation. But that'll be up to whether or not Jalen Hurts can do it. And it's hard to really predict anybody to be the Heisman because there's so many people that just come in and they just put the ball out. I mean, it's D1, and there's so many other schools other than Oklahoma, and then there's local schools that where the guys just hard carry and then they get in the topic of conversation. But I think that it would be possible, but I'm not going to say he will or won't.
The last two Heismans are from Oklahoma as well, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. It'd be hard to say the third one would be from Oklahoma.
What do you think, Meech? You think he was a product of Alabama, or you think it...
I thought Jalen was really good, and then he kind of just crumbled in the national championship, and then they put Tua in and saw how good Tua was, and that's kind of all she wrote. It wasn't that Jalen Hurts was bad.
It was just Tua was better.
His Tua is just a monster.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I feel great about Jalen Hurts in Oklahoma. I think specifically you think about the fact that the last two quarterbacks on Oklahoma, like you're saying, won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Drafted number one. So, yeah, I think the Hurts is in a pretty good situation.
So, speaking of Tua, he kind of crumbled in the playoffs a little bit. That was very eye-opening once they played better defense. Because Clemson just had their way with Alabama. Do you think that Tua continues to play like the dominant force he was last year?
Be surprising if not. Me and you went back and forth a lot, Clay, last year. Just some of the throws he'd make are ridiculous. He's a monster.
How he's just hitting people right in stride. How efficient he is.
From a lefty too, it just looks cool. Like just watching that accuracy everywhere on the field. He's just a beast.
He can make every throw, and he has really good football IQ, a lot of athletic ability. Just makes plays when needed.
What team is he going to? He's going to be in Alabama, right?
Bama.
Yeah, I think he would play good just because it's Alabama.
Roll damn tide, mother.
I've never been a fan of Alabama. I think everybody that comes out of Alabama, other than like the offensive line backs, are always a product of Alabama. I even think some of those guys are just because you're surrounded by nothing but 4 and 5 star players. You got nothing but great players around.
Sort of. A lot of them do really well in the league.
No, that's
true. You're saying but this isn't even about that. You're saying Tua is a system guy.
I think we don't know, and I think it's a safe bet for me to say that he is, just because it is Alabama. It'd be interesting to see what he would do for a team like WVU. You know what I mean? Would he be putting up those numbers like a Greer, putting those numbers even like a Geno Smith?
Right.
I mean,
I like that. That's a good argument.
So we'll see.
Maybe not. Yeah, we won't know until we'll never know that, but we won't know how nice he is until he leaves Bama.
Right.
Because it's hard not to do well with those savages around you.
I think that he continues to be dominant, but I don't think that he plays to the level he was at last year.
Yeah, his regular season pace last year was kind of nutty.
Not to mention that he was only playing through 3 quarters most of the time.
Yeah, and still dropping just ridiculous numbers every game. 304 playing 2.5 quarters.
Yep.
So we're on
which is not custom for Bama QBs. Usually it's like managed game.
You got it. That's the thing.
Scramble guy.
Nick Saban has to see something for him to say, all right, we're calling the play for this guy to throw the ball. And if he's throwing for 303 quarters, he's a money ball. He's hitting people like you guys said. He's hitting people in stride. He's accurate. He's not going to throw the ball away. He's not going to turn it over. If Nick Saban's deciding to let this guy throw the ball more often than not, clearly he has a lot of trust in him instead of handing it off to their 5-star running back. So
wasn't Jalen Hurts a Heisman finalist the year he got yanked out of the national championship?
Yeah, I want to say he was the Heisman.
He was. He got like 3rd or whatever. But so that just shows you back to that question. Like, definitely has a chance to win the Heisman. He was a Heisman finalist already. But to the Bears' point, is he a fucking Bama product or is he nasty?
Yep.
But Oklahoma's nasty too, so who knows?
So who won
they're not
that
Alabama,
year? Was that the year that Baker Mayfield won it? I think it was.
Yeah. 2 years ago, because that's who they played, right?
Yep.
Oklahoma or no? It was Oklahoma, right?
No, they played Georgia, I thought.
Yeah, you're right. Georgia beat Oklahoma in the first round, and we got the All SEC.
Right. Now, do you think that anyone gives Bama or Clemson like a shot this year? I mean, is what I'm asking is anyone like Ohio State, Oklahoma, are they going to be playing for more than just third and fourth this year?
Ooh, man, I don't know. The Ohio State is known to be a joke artist, so I'd say they're playing for fourth. I'd say there's going to be a team that's
And you
coming out
even
of
got to throw Georgia in there too.
right, Georgia. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Georgia. I like the way Georgia plays. It's an SEC team, obviously, and I think they'll be a contender against Alabama.
Just to look in the conference, like we're Clemson. I just don't know that the ACC has a lot against them. Florida State's usually talented, but for whatever reason, don't perform as advertised. Miami, hit or miss. Sometimes Miami's really good, but it seems like every time Miami's quote-unquote really good in the modern era, they choke every big game.
Yeah.
I'm going with Trevor Lawrence winning the Heisman this year and Clemson running the table.
I don't see Clemson losing, but like I said, Florida State, Miami, can't sleep on it, but it's always like so much talent in schools and not like enough of the program like stability or whatever you want to call it. Like Florida State's always got so much talent.
Yeah.
And somehow they lose games like all the time.
Don't sleep on Michigan.
They lose games to Pitt.
Oh, you mean Muck Fishigan?
Ohio State, as far as them, I don't think you can really ever write them on. I mean, if they win the Big Ten, it's literally a different brand of football than like the rest of the country to a degree. But if Ohio State's in the playoffs, can't write them off. But lately, you don't feel great about them against like Clemson or Bama. I guess you don't feel great.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's Clemson and Bama. I think that's easy to say too, but
Football sucks. With that, just tired of seeing the same teams. Tired of Alabama. Tired of them.
Okay.
I want to see other teams. I mean, I'm just tired of seeing the same teams, and I'm tired of seeing people just gas the SEC. The SEC isn't that great. I mean, there's other division or the other conferences that are just like they're nasty, and I'm just tired of seeing the same thing over and over.
yeah, the Big Ten is usually really good, and the Big Ten will never get two playoffs. It doesn't seem, which is I don't know. The SEC always gets that edge over the Big Ten in the media eye for whatever reason, which the Big Ten usually has a stronger number 2 contender outside of the Georgia recent success.
I feel like if everyone went undefeated, it would be obvious Clemson, Alabama, and then you got to have Ohio State and Oklahoma in there, and it doesn't matter how good anyone else was. Like, if everyone's record was the same, those are the 4 teams you'd see in.
Where the hell has Notre Dame been? Are they going to do anything this year?
They're going out with Manti Te'o's girlfriend. Yeah, I don't know what's up with them.
That's a throwback.
Right.
Throwback meme. or getting it on some fucking 2010 memes.
Yeah. Great memes. Guy lied about his girlfriend.
But, yeah, college football kind of sucks. It's just the same shit. Oklahoma runs.
Yeah.
Ohio State runs the Big Ten. Michigan runs the Big Ten. Right, Ohio State.
I just look forward to March Madness.
Tries really, really hard and
You
then
mean-
loses to Ohio State.
But
You mean
Like I
March
said.
Madness?
yeah, I was just going to say, but nothing compares to wrestling.
Hater.
Yeah, tell Rose that got slammed Spike for the title.
See Ben Askren getting absolutely mollywopped by Jordan. Jordan Burroughs
Right.
wasn't even trying.
Right, but that's expected. Like, that's a different level. That
would a guy like Jordan Burroughs be able to translate his shit to the UFC if he ever saw fit that it could be?
100%.
Yeah.
But it takes some time, that's for sure. He probably wouldn't do great right this second because he's never really trained for it. But yeah, if he trained for it, he would probably be a fucking unit in MMA.
Yeah.
Like he's got, the shit that he could do to people once he grabs them is probably not been seen. The likes of MMA.
Yeah,
So,
I'd like to see that guy go against Khabib.
right, but like Khabib would be out of sport by the time he figured out. I feel like.
Right.
I don't think Jordan will do it either. Jordan's like he made a lot of money on that bend thing. That was like an advertised wrestling thing. Like I think there's an alleyway for Jordan to make some bank without having to risk his brain getting bounced off the canvas.
Do you think Khabib's legacy was damaged after that whole fallout after the fight with McGregor?
Yeah. Do you think it enhanced it?
So he will still be known as like a legend. He'll be like the undefeated legend. I mean, do you see anybody beating him? Is he going to be the legend?
Not at 155.
No.
But no, I don't think that damaged his legacy. I think if anything, it just makes him seem like I thought it was corny personally, but I think if anything, it just adds to his unfuck with ability. He doesn't give a shit. He's there to murder. Like it's not a joke to him. Period.
Right. There to fuck shit up. But yeah, that's all I really got. Unless you all had anything you wanted to hit on.
Is there any things going on right
Connor's being annoying.
Shocker.
Day-to-day
I don't-
news, yeah. Connor's being really annoying.
now? I like Connor, but I don't know if I really want to touch on Connor right now. He's just doing his own
No, we don't have to.
thing.
That was it. Connor's being annoying. Move
Yeah.
on.
We'll leave it at that. Alright, boys.
We already touched on heavyweight. There was some Bellator shit that happened too, but that's some other shit that's hard to even.
Yeah.
This one guy that I'm pretty sure undefeated welterweight in Bellator MVP got KO'd
Yeah, he got beat. I do know that.
by God, I can't remember who KO'd him. It was so fresh in my mind, but
A guy at work was telling me about that today.
Bellator's got tournaments. That shit's kind of weird. They have like these huge tourneys, and I don't know if the winner fights Rory or if Rory's in the tournament because I thought Rory was the Bellator champ, but
Tournament.
Tournament. It is entertaining, but it's like weird. I don't know if that's like I just don't know if that works for everybody, but it's better than UFC just giving it to like whoever's named in the media at the time.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it.
Alright, boys. Good chat. Wake and take out.
Wait.
Like LeVar Ball.
Dude.